If you have a problem in life, can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? If you cannot do something about it, then why worry?
If you become a designer and just think about the functionality of the product, it could be completely soulless.
Just get bored.
All right, welcome everyone to Be Sunday podcast. Today I have Olivier as my guest. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation in the last moment.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
No problem. It's amazing to have you here. Would you please introduce yourself a little bit for us?
So my name is Olivier Croizat. I'm a teacher at Design. I'm a creative director, designer, among other things, to make it brief.
What kind of design do you do, if I may ask?
Global.
Okay.
So it's going to be about interior design, graphic design, product design. The key is basically asking what the target needs and using empathy to answer as many problems as possible.
Would you elaborate more? Like, for example, give us an example. What is the scenario that it happens?
For a flat, for an interior design, you're not going to conceive it the same way if it's for, let's say, an elder gentleman alone or family, like a nuclear classic family with 2 kids. They won't have the same need. They don't have the same profile as well. Same for a website as well. Or graphic design, and everything depends on the on your audience. So you have to adapt every time to your target, your client.
Basically, you have to research your clients every time. What kind of behavior they have, what kind of family they are in, and okay. And you studied in this sense, like global design. Is that what you studied?
Yes.
And may I ask, where did you study?
I studied in a school that doesn't exist now, that was bought by another one. It was, I forgot the old name. Now it's part of Condé. But yeah, I forgot the old name. Orbicom, I believe.
Orbicom.
Yeah,
Where is that?
It was in Cannes-sur-Mer. It was a long time ago.
Okay, so you've been here before, like...
Yeah.
I know that you're not from around here.
I know I'm from Clermont-Ferrand,
okay,
which is a little less exotic than the French Riviera. But for me, it's like the capital of the world because it's where I grew up, so nothing can beat it.
Interesting. And why is it the capital? What is it about there exactly that you think...
It's where I had my youth, so... I forgot who said that, but you spend like the first part of your life on the pretty side of a broderie, and the second part on the other side. So the first part, everything is pretty, and then the second part is less prettier, but you know why and how it's made. And I feel like, I grew up in Clermont-Ferrand, so I had all these childhood memories, and because I grew up here, I just love it. And because of those memories, like if I had moved here in my adult years, I don't think it would have been that interesting. But I mean, we have a black church in the middle of, next to Place de Jaude in the middle of Clermont-Ferrand, and it's absolutely gorgeous, like a Gothic architecture, all black because of the Puzellan stone, which is the Volvic stone, because of volcanoes, and it's actually, I just love it.
So, if I may ask, when did you know that you're creative and you wanted to become a designer?
Since my tender years. As a kid, I wanted to be either a comedian or an inventor. And naturally, I went into this design path. I thought about engineering at some point, but I wasn't in love with the school. I may say, especially the system and the way it was transmitted to us. I needed like some system of vulgarization to make the informations more transparent for us, more appealing, more glamorous. And it was out of a book that didn't change for years. So I was a little on the side, and honestly, I wasn't the best student, but I was curious about everything. I wanted to know how things were made, why. And I turned my teachers mad because every time they were saying me, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, I was like, why? Why this way? Why not another? And
I totally understand. I'm usually the same thing. I'm always like, why is it like that? Why is it like this?
But that's good. That's good. It shows curiosity. It shows that you really want to understand on a deeper level. It's not like just being a yes man. And I think this way you manage to really hold on the knowledge and you can explain it afterwards because you ask why.
I feel like you can find the part of yourself that it's really you when you start denying the outside world, and then you start listening what is inside. So you stop conforming, you stop like adapting to society basically to get along with society, and then you could basically know who are you, like in the deeper sense.
Pretty much.
And I think that's completely necessary as well in design in order to find your own path, no?
Yeah, especially when you're having like, I don't know, a phone or something, you can think about the pros and cons, but how would you do it better? I get that this Black Mirror is kind of appealing, it's really user-friendly and so on, but it's just a piece of flat glass, for example. It's without any human touch or anything personal or anything organic, mostly. So it's made for the mass market, and it shows in the design. It's really minimalistic. You can change, of course, the screensaver and so on, but you can personalize it up to a certain limit. It's not like if it has this supplément d'âme, as we say in French, this little touch of spirit that makes it more appealing, more... that's why, for example, even when we are looking at cars, for example, I'm leaning more towards old cars with less electronics, and especially targeted at something, that you can drive and feel more, rather than having Android and a lot of data, a lot of systems all around. I'm more inclined to like something that is more down to earth and analogic, with less electricity and more practicality and more simplicity, more something more intuitive. I'm not saying this is not intuitive, but less electronics and something where you can actually feel it in a way. For example, the MX-5. It's a brilliant car. It's made by Mazda. It's super simple, but I forgot the name again. But they have a way of working, and it was inspired by a man on his horse. So the goal is for the man riding the horse to be one with the animal, with the transportation system. And they applied this to the car. So when you go inside, it's actually quite tricky if you're tall. But once you're inside, everything goes under your hand, and it's super handy. It's like wearing a jacket. It's super intuitive, and the car becomes an extension of you. And it's not like... because I drove many cars as well, and for example, an Audi A1, it's really small, but you feel like driving an egg, an organic egg filled with cocoon, but you don't feel the asphalt. You're like in a shield, in an armor, so to speak, but you don't feel your environment the way as you could feel with an MX-5. It's a huge advert for MX-5. I don't know if I can talk about brands.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just name dropping at this point, but yeah, I think especially nowadays everything turned into more virtual. We need this organic, this human touch more than ever before in I think human history.
Well, this brings this was almost my last questions that I prepared for you.
Okay.
But you just brought me into it, so I have to ask because the first question that I want to clarify. So you are doing design still, or teaching? Which one is it? When did you start teaching? And
I started teaching in 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
And based on my research,
Ooh.
you had some sort of a reason to become a teacher. Would you explain why is that?
I had, let's say, an artistic difference with my boss. I did my studies in the Cantal, in one of the cold region of France. by the way, even the mayor asked to have a special message in the Weather Channel saying the base for temperature was based in Vic-sur-Serre and not Aurillac. But yeah, I did my studies in Aurillac in the Cantal. And where I meant to say is Aurillac is really, it's close to my hometown. It's really simple, really organic somehow. And then afterwards I worked in Monaco, which is the complete opposite. It's international, it's really luxurious. And I think I fooled myself in a way, even though I wanted to aim for the highest, for the better. It wasn't really suiting me. So after
in what sense?
I worked at this time in as a art creative art director. I was doing all the visuals coming out of the company, all the adverts, all the website as well for Monte Carlo Gastronomy back then. And it wasn't really suiting me in a way that I want first to be closer to the clients. We had a few clients, but I felt that having a screen in front of my face all day long was too cold for me. I needed this interaction that I can have with students or on different projects, for example, in interior design. I was lacking this, and it was mostly adverts. And every time when I was working on a project, I was studying like the pros and cons on every product, and the purpose is to sell. So I'm not saying you're lying, but you're like turning something, an object, into a much prettier version that it is or that it could be. And I wasn't feeling 100% in my comfortable in my shoes doing that, even though, don't get me wrong, I'm passionate about this. I had a great time with amazing clients, amazing coworkers as well. And it's just, I felt like I was fooling myself in a way, so I wanted to try something else at some point.
So you entered this world of art, if I'm correct, because on the
artistic direction and creative direction, yeah.
But like what I had researched, for example, I found out that you worked on a couple of stuff. Cobra oak and golden oak. Oh,
yeah.
Can you explain what are those?
This is an artistic project of mine.
Okay.
I'm passionate about timepieces since my tender years again. And I wanted to give it a shot. I would rather prefer waking up in my when I turn 80s and something and thinking I tried, rather than I wished I did this, I wished I did that. So we are only getting older. So the goal is to try now and not like in 2 years, 4 years or whatever. Especially for a product, for example, if you're putting on the market too late, when it's too perfect, it's already too late. You should be bold. That's my belief, but you should try something, even though it's a mistake. But at least you know it's a mistake and you can move on, or you can adapt it. You can perform into turning it into a better version of itself, and with this feedback, you can grow. Actually, feedback is so precious. So I'm working on this artistic project, and I'll see where it leads me. But
would you explain what are the because I try to understand like what is this is it like some sort of a mechanism that you drew, for example?
It's ological movement.
Okay.
Inspired by the most famous brand in the world, whether it's Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, I did the Panerai, Omega. I did many others. Right now they're not all online because I'm quite busy, unfortunately, but I need to protect them and then put them online. Basically those are artworks inspired by movements. And the main question that leads me to those artistic propositions and expressions is what is real today? Where is the truth, basically? Especially with AI, especially with the US current president, who who pushed Google into changing their algorithm with the fact checking and so on. I thought, like, where is the truth nowadays? And I thought, with all those influencers, all those people creating their own thing online and saying, oh, I'm the expert in this, I'm the expert of that. How? Did you have a diploma in that? For how long have you been studying? And I thought, okay, what is real nowadays is just the laws of physics. There's nothing more real than this. And I thought about, of course, my love for time and therefore timepieces. Mm-hmm. And especially like the Ouroboros, the snake that bites his own tail. You're spending time into learning a craft in order to master time. And I find it really almost paradoxical. You're spending time in order to get a hold of something that you can't actually physically touch or hold. But using that and my expertise in vectorial drawings, I wanted to use mathematics as well to show those ological movements in a way that I will represent with mathematics something that is made to mimic time somehow, and therefore echoes the truth of time and physics. So yeah, that's why I'm like making those time seals.
It's interesting. And also, like, as I read your website, you mentioned that there are some part of the design that cannot be really that cannot solve everything. If I'm correct, like it cannot be the truth complete. Like it cannot touch the truth completely, and that's why art is one of the reasons that like our art's pathway is one of the reasons that like you.
Yeah.
Is that am I touching on something?
Yeah. Because the way I see design is about answering a question. Artistic is asking a question, and holding the truth, like the ultimate truth, is pretty hard, I think. There's always nuance, even if it's because of our social system, the way we have to be polite. Even like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good, and you? And you just have this polite way of answering instead of saying, well, actually, I'm not that good. I'm having this issue and this, but because of the social system, we tend to say, yeah, I'm good. What about you? And, it's... I don't think we can hold the real truth. I mean, there's a lot of physicists and people believe in their God and so on. Everybody has their own truth, and I think that's
what can we do? Like, what does design have to do anything with this? Like, what is it about design, for example, that could approach truth and touch truth in a way that we don't get comfortable, in a sense that, for example, we get disconnected from the reality that, for example, the phone does, or like the cars that we have these days that you don't touch the asphalt, for example. How could we design something that you, as you said, you become one with the design?
Yeah.
Right. Like how can we touch that truth in design?
With the interactivity, with the ergonomic, and especially the way it's built. It has to be sustainable. It has to be respectful of the environment. It has to be, respectful of both our environment that we came from and both our humanity.
The harmony, no?
Yeah.
I feel like also like at this moment of our lives, I feel like we're entering this era of AI and we are becoming completely disconnected.
Yeah.
And what I also found fascinating, you raised this question, like we are the generation that we grew up with digitals, and we don't know anything, next to digital. And how would you, as a teacher, how would you want to, like communicate with the students in order for them to see the physicality, to see the truth, to see the reality as well as the digital, so like they can collaborate between these two.
Okay, so first of all, I have to say I'm sorry in name of my generations, because we built Facebook and all those things. So
You're the reason that you're addicted.
not personally, but yeah, they created something to making you addicted, and then after all, they're selling you this AI, they're selling you this intelligent system. So that's one point. And on the second one, how would I guide my students? Get your hands dirty, make drawings, make mistakes, try. But I'm not saying put all the computers and AI into the trash, because those are amazing tools still. But it's like Photoshop back then. When Photoshop arrived, there's an older generation who knew how to draw, how to make pictures and so on. And they got fired for the new generation knowing Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody like screamed like, wow, Photoshop is such the cutting edge of technology for pictures and so on. And then afterwards they realized the limits of that Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're reaching the same with AI. We're thinking like, oh, AI is great, but it's actually making a lot of mistakes because their algorithm is based on this hallucination, and in a small percentage. And so you can't rely 100% on AI. And now we have this backlash. Of course, it can do some tremendous task pretty quickly. Again, it's an amazing tool, but it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we need people to know how to make things. I'm going to sound like a boomer, but the old way, in the really more organic way, like using the design thinking, using the empathic phase, putting diagnostic, then creating a first version, then prototype it, then test it, and then do it all the way, all along the design thinking methods all again. But especially making mistakes like drawing something, doing another thing, drawing again and again, and perhaps going back to it and thinking, what did I meant by this drawing with this or that? And it's really organic in this way. There's no data. There is no 0, 1 and numeric numbers. It's just like pure human empathy. And I think that's the key as well. One of my students told me something brilliant as well. He told me the passion, the heart, was actually the engine. And I can't agree more with that. I don't know if he will see that podcast, but thank you again for that. I will tag him in the under it. But yeah, I think we have this heart. We have this passion that drives you more than a processor will ever do. We have this organic, this humanity basically that the machine won't ever have. Even in the movie Her. I don't know if you saw that movie.
Of course, that's one of my favorite movies, actually.
Brilliant movie. And he fell in love with AI, but it's just a program. It's not human.
Of course. The humanness is lost. But again, like in this world that we are trying to be efficient,
mm-hmm.
and we are goal oriented all the time.
Yes.
And the time is like, you hear this, time is money, which I absolutely disguise.
Same. And even I saw many things online saying, oh, if that person is labeled toxic, put it into the bin. And I feel like with those social media, we are lacking nuance. But reality is everything but nuance. Oh, this guy is evil. This girl did that, blah, blah, blah. So we label them as toxic, we put it into the bin. But what about the context? What about the reality? What about the nuance? And what about the perspective on one another? I think empathy, especially nowadays, can save us. Whether we are working as a group and we can multitask, like somebody will do this and so on, and then we can have feedbacks on each part of
the group.
Exactly. Thank you. I was losing my English for a minute. So I think empathy can really save us. And being an empathic, being kind is more than anything a show of strength and not a show of weakness.
It's rare, huh?
Yeah.
These days is very rare.
Unfortunately, yeah. And I'm seeing that the more I drive, the more I find the car system lacking empathy, because we're like in this shield, so to speak, and we don't see the other. We only identify cars, but there's somebody inside, there's somebody driving it. Perhaps if somebody drives fast, they need to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw those cars and we're thinking, like, oh, he's driving like a maniac and blah, blah, blah. And we have all those, it's not really fourth agreement, what I'm about to say, but
no, of course.
Oh, this guy is a maniac, he's stupid, and blah, blah, blah. And it's really bad. Perhaps he has an issue, perhaps he's in pain, perhaps we don't know. And yeah, I think empathic. Sorry.
Empathic, yeah.
Empathic is.
I feel like it's really hard these days to be compassionate and empathetic, honestly. And we are creating these walls and limitations and isolations.
Yeah.
We are just in an isolated environment. We communicate. We rather communicate digitally rather than face to face,
and then
it's
organically. Yeah.
It's completely painful for me. So yeah, I feel like the empathy and the compassion is kind of gone. And but if I may ask you,
mm-hmm.
how would you, as a teacher, because I know, for example, sometimes even myself as a student, I know, for example, there is this assignment coming up. And I'm like, okay, for example, I can risk it
mm-hmm.
and be, in this anxiety in order to maybe to come up with something, but I'm not sure, right? But at the same time, I can be like, oh, for instance, I can just easily use Pinterest. I can easily use this, use that, and AI, for example, to come up with an idea, right?
Yeah.
So how can I deal with this?
Okay.
What is it about the? Okay.
So sorry, no.
No. Go on.
There's two things. First, if you worry, use the why worry rule. Like if you have a problem in life, can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? If you cannot do something about it, then why worry?
Yes.
It leads to the why worry.
You tell us that quite often, actually.
Yeah, same with the 4 agreement. But yeah, why worry? And then with the AI tool, I think if you're using AI to replace your own creativity, this is the dangerous path, because therefore, why a client will call you for their need if they can do it on AI?
Mm-hmm.
And your empathy, your style, your soul, your way of thinking, this what makes your creativity yours. And this is what we have to cherish and protect by all means.
Mm-hmm.
Because ChatGPT and all these AI systems are at best cover bands. They will never be like the Beatles, like the Rolling Stones or Phil Collins or whatever. They are cover bands. They will take some things, put them together, but they will never create something original, like 100% original, like 100% organic. They are cover bands.
Of course.
At best.
Of course.
And so those tools are great, can help us save times, but you need to think about your sensitivity, how you see it, how you will imagine it. Your imagination more than using AI to do like a cover of
mm-hmm.
different ideas, hybrid.
But what is it about creativity? Like, as you said, imagination and creativity can be lost sometimes,
mm-hmm.
as I experience it. Like, it's not something that you can force it. It's
mm-hmm.
not something that it comes with effort.
You can influence it.
How can you influence
and nourish it? Go to the museums. Be curious about everything surrounding you constantly. For example, when I saw that coming in, I thought, like, how did they make that? Was it with Photoshop? With another software? I see those pictures are quite detailed, so perhaps it's patchwork. But this
is Procreate, actually.
Procreate, okay.
Yes.
So yeah, be always curious about the tools that everybody's using, because you can do that with Photoshop as well. You can do that with Illustrator as well. Be constantly curious. Like Einstein said that in a brilliant book as well. I don't know what's the English title, but in French it was Comment je vois le monde, mm-hmm. How I see the world, basically. And he talked about the need for creatives to be independent. The society can only benefit of the ideas of the creative only if the creatives are independent from the society. So art, for example, is paramount. Design as well. There's an artist that I love called Sebastian Erazuritz, who's an artist, a designer as well. And he's talking about AI. He made a book on this as well. And questioning things are as important as answering them. So art is as important as design. Those are two complete different areas. But yeah, both are.
I feel like they're interdependent somehow. They're somehow connected.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if you completely, how I see it, and as you explain as well, and if I, interpreted it all right, if you become a designer and just think about the functionality of the product, it could be completely soulless, completely.
Exactly.
It's just there to function.
Yeah.
But as soon as you bring art in it, you also think about the human behavior. You think about like the human consciousness in it, basically,
and the beauty of it.
Yeah. Exactly. Because that's I feel like that's a very important thing.
Yeah.
Again, like being functional is one part of it, but also like the artistic part is another part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, for example, I feel like in this generation that we are in, there is an issue that I see. For instance, the issue is that maybe this part of like the functionality of it is easy to get because we already have a lot of product and we already have a lot of engineering that like we don't really have to search for something new, maybe, right? Yeah. But this artistic part again, like this conscious part, this like spiritual part of us that has to be somehow integrated in this
process.
Processes. Sometimes it gets blocked. You know what I mean? So like it's like how can I say that? As you said, for example, you have to start questioning. You're not supposed to conform to the society or to your surroundings so much.
Up to a certain point.
Of course. But also like you have to have your own voice to find it your own voice. But we are so much surrounded with information and how
we have
could
to mute it?
Yeah, but how? How is it possible to do that?
A friend of mine spent his weekend without his phone. No social media, no internet, no nothing.
I think that would be impossible for our generation.
I think that's a pretty good experience. If you're not like really anxious about leaving your phone, first of all, if you're anxious, you need that. But I think it's a pretty good exercise to just leave your phone home and just wander around. Get bored.
Oh, that's the one of the hardest thing that
right
to be.
Yeah, but we created those needs, this speed, constant attention.
Entertainment.
Yes, we need to consume everything. Instagram at some point it's just liking pictures on a Google image, but there is this social dimension to it, and therefore we are scrolling and just get bored.
Honestly, we don't even interact with Instagram anymore. We don't like anymore. We don't comment anymore. We're just consumers.
Exactly.
Constantly.
This is awful because at some point we open our phones thinking about something and we ended up, I said that to my students and they were like, wow, yeah, that's true. I'm sure it happens to you too as well. You're like on Instagram scrolling and you're thinking, what am I doing here? I wanted to do something initially and I somehow ended up here. And
it happens.
That's awful.
It happens and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but at the same time, it's really hard to change it.
I think it's not impossible because
of course not.
It's made by human and so on.
Not.
Even though they hired people specialized in addiction to make us addicted to these, there's a way as well to, perhaps replace this addiction with something more healthier. Nowadays, they say like, oh, this app is the addiction. It's more addictive than anything before. Addiction now is like a marketing argument, which sounds awful, but perhaps you can change that with sports or just getting bored, getting in the park, do nothing, playing chess with a friend, playing board games.
But again, I feel like we are in a society that we have to become someone. We have to be someone. We have to.
That's awful.
We have to always do something in order to be accepted,
That's awful.
to be approved of.
The pressure.
Yeah, the pressure is great.
And this is what I talked about earlier on. Somebody can create their own channel and say, I'm the expert in this. Even though they have no expertise in that. Perhaps they do, I don't know. But if they get more likes and more people followers, therefore the brands will invite them because they have followers. And what I meant to say is nowadays, this following success, this popular digital virtual success is more important than the real expertise.
Of course.
And that's I think that's the trend nowadays. I'm not sure it's gonna last. They were talking about this for the Festival de Cannes, for example. They were inviting influencers. They can be really good journalists because they make informations alive, and you have the speaker that you like, that you create a connection with, like with I don't know, Claire Chazal on TF1, for example. It's a French channel. I don't know if you know, but she's not on the air anymore. It was more my generation, but anyway, this digital popularity supersedes the real expertise, and I find it a little dramatic because you can be the master of your field, but if you don't know how to sell it, how to exist online, somehow for some people you don't exist, or you're not worth of be listened to. And some people make great books, but because they are not online, they don't have this access to
being
I find it
popular.
dramatic. Yeah.
Yes, it's completely unfortunate because I definitely know, and I've met some people that they have never been online, but you talk to them, and these people are great.
Of course.
I mean, they're fantastic, and I'm like, hey, I mean, if you were online, basically, you would have been popular. You would because what you have, the wisdom you have, the abilities you have, what you can give to the world is just. But at the same time, I understand them because it's very toxic. It's very
exactly.
It's hard to be online. It's hard to be in this environment of constant pressure.
And not comparison between yourself and people you're seeing with all this perfection that they're selling online. It's the new social organic perfection. Yeah. And it's not real. It's toxic more than anything else.
It's completely toxic. If I may ask the last question
Sure.
from you. So, what is your advice to my generation?
Mm-hmm.
If you could give us an advice as a designers, as the creator of the the future of the world that we are living in, which I absolutely think it's in a disaster.
Go to a concert without your phone, get bored, play board games, play chess. It sounds old, but the way I see it, my generation created those social media. Don't get me wrong, some things about social media are absolutely great. But like anything, everything is about balance.
Of course.
And it can be toxic to a point. So get bored, do board games, draws, try to get rid of those technology for just a little while, just to see how you feel.
Of course.
Go to a concert without filming, because honestly, I don't know who's filming this.
And who's watching after that?
Exactly. Sorry. Who will watch this afterwards? Be in the present. Why worry? Because, use the why worry rule and the 4 agreements. I think I'm trying to teach my nephews about this, but that could save tons of people having depression and things like this, because
we could function better. Our mind is clear. Basically.
Clear. If the way you speak is perfect without saying anything bad, if you don't take things personally, if you always do your best and don't make assumptions, well, it's groundbreaking. you feel so light. If you did your best and you didn't said bad things about somebody, and that somebody takes something personally, on your side you can say, I'm sorry, but I did my best. I didn't say and therefore you use empathy, saying, what did I say wrong? What's wrong about it? How can I help you? And then you communicate, and as well for your generation as well, if you have an issue, don't text, call or meet in person.
Of course.
But so many hours doing text.
It's easier. I mean, it's easier, but it's I mean, that's not the optimal version.
Exactly.
But it's just easier. That's why we do it.
That's the problem.
It is a problem.
That's
I
the
agree.
problem. Yeah.
I agree. We do the easy things these days.
Yeah, but it's not the solution. Like so many friendship or relations are broken because it's easier this way rather than talking. We have this ghost. There's a way of that for that. I forgot the term. When you ghost somebody just by
ghosting,
stopping asking questions like how are you, or it's tricky times. But I think because this technology is pretty young, like social media comes from 2010 I think, or something, 2006. It's pretty young, so we still know, I mean, some people alive still know how it was before, so we can still make this alive somehow. We know how it was. Sharing, for example, a meal without being on their phone. Don't know, sharing fun facts, sharing things, just talking to one another in this organic, old school boomer way. But it's good. It's good. And of course, digital can bring us many things, but
I hope we don't forget it. I hope we keep this connection.
Yeah, we will evolve. We already, the way we express ourselves with, oh, I like this, oh, I adore this, it's just a liking. Yeah. The way we cut somebody's from our circle of friends because they are toxic, it's the same way. It's the consequences of those social media, because they're using this marketing strategy as well, and we have a tendency to label everything out of the context. And without these nuances, we do mistake. And how about calling an old friend and saying, listen, I'm sorry, but I miss you. How you've been up to? I'm sorry I messed up. And how did you went? What happened? Why did you react this way? And empathy again.
Yeah, empathy and compassion, for sure.
Yeah, and taking the time, not while driving, like actually taking some time in our schedule, not being in this constant race.
Of course.
We took the time to talk.
Of course, to talk. Yeah.
Well,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a great podcast, and I'm really happy to have you here. And hopefully I could have you sometime soon again.
I hope it's you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
And see you soon.